What's going on, folks? If you are a Lincoln Cent collector, you're going to want to watch this video. It will get your heart racing. This Lincoln Cent is graded so high because it's one of the most beautiful specimens of this type of air. It has beautiful orange copper fields, they're deeply mirrored, and it creates a stunning contrast against that frosted device of Lincoln's bust and the reverse of the coin. The omission of the S mint mark is really apparent, obviously, to trained collectors, and such errors are typically caught quickly at the mint, meaning very few of them would have even entered into collector hands. What's particularly striking about this coin is the combination of flawless surfaces, that perfect cameo contrast, and then this super deep strike. According to PCGS, there are no finer examples known, so this thing is the top of the charts. It was sold from the Western collection of 1964 SMS coins, adding some pedigree and history to it. So what did it sell for? This coin realized $7,200 at auction. In 1999, the US Mint was using two different reverse designs on Lincoln cents, but only one was supposed to appear on business strikes. The regular coin, a close AM, has the letters A and M in America almost touching one another. But a few coins were struck using the proof die, which has a wider gap between those letters, the wide AM variety. It's one of those subtle errors that slip through quality control, and most people never even notice it. So let's start with the regular example. On December 12, 2023, Heritage Auctions sold a 1999 Lincoln Cent, graded really well, MS68 red by PCGS, from the Jack Lee collection for right at $69. They're 2.5 grams, they have a zinc core with a thin copper coating, exactly what you'd expect. The surfaces are flawless, bright, and really red in color. But this is the standard close AM design you'll find almost every 99 cent will have today. Now let's get to that 99 wide AM error. Now here's where things are going to get interesting. Just 1 week later, a 1999 wide AM Lincoln Cent graded MS67 red by NGC sold for $576 at auction. And in February of 2025, another example, an MS66 red through PCGS, the FS901 variety, sold for over $400. Also 2.5 grams, 99.2% zinc with that little thin layer of copper, but that design gives it away. On the wide AM, the space between the A and M in America is clearly visible. The bottoms of the letters don't touch. You'll also notice that the designer's initials FG sit slightly closer to the base of the Lincoln Memorial. It's one of those varieties that you can identify instantly once you know what you're looking for. So let's talk about the 1992 close AM discovery. By 1992, the US Mint had been using the Lincoln Memorial reverse for over 3 decades. But in the early 90s, something odd slipped through the presses. A reverse design that was never meant for circulation. See, the close AM reverse was originally intended for proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint, not business strikes from Philly or Denver. On that proof design, the letters A and M in America nearly touch each other. On the normal circulation reverse, they're spaced slightly apart, known as a wide AM. But a few proof dies somehow made it into the normal production, creating one of the most elusive modern errors, the 1992 close AM Lincoln Cent. Only a handful have ever been confirmed, and most are found with light circulation wear, making any certified example a real numismatic event. The most known example, graded AU55 by PCGS, sold in 2023 through Heritage Auctions for $9,600. It's one of only 6 known at that level, and it's a coin that shouldn't even exist. Now, it wasn't just Philadelphia, even Denver had its own version of this error. One example, graded AU58 by PCGS, sold in February of 2025 for $1,140. It's the 1992 close AM, listed under variety FS901. Just like its Philadelphia cousin, this spacing between the A and M is nearly touching. The designer's initials FG for Frank Gasparo sit slightly farther from the Lincoln Memorial base than the normal coin. These little markers are what confirm it's really rare and from a proof reverse. This was accidentally paired with a circulation obverse die and created this error. With only 15 examples certified, this variety remains one of the most challenging modern finds in pocket change, and many collectors believe there are still a few of them out there waiting to be discovered. But let's look at the coin that most people would actually have to talk about the value of the regular 1992 wide AM. This is the correct design for circulation. It shows a clear gap between the letters A and M, and with the designer's initials FG tucked close to the base of the memorial. A top-end example graded MS68 red by PCGS sold in May of 2024 for $119. That's still a really impressive price for a zinc cent. But compared to those close AMs, it's a reminder that rarity, not grade, drives value. Billions of wide AM cents were struck that year, but only a small handful are close AMs. And that makes all that difference. When you line them up, same year, same design, same metal, but one tiny detail changes everything. The difference isn't in the metal size or the strike, it's in the design. The close AM was a die mix-up, the wrong reverse used on regular planchets. The wide AM is exactly what the mint intended. So what's the collector takeaway? If you've got a 1992 or 1992 D penny, it's worth a second look. You should grab a loupe, a magnifier, and check the letters in America. If the A and M are nearly touching, you might be holding one of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents ever released into circulation. These are two nearly identical 1995 Lincoln cents. Both of them are certified as double dies, FS101, and both are in stunning MS68 red. So this will be a good comparison of the two coins. They are similar values, but we'll touch on why one sold for a little bit less than the other one. We'll break down these two coins. They sold in September of 2025, so they're recent sales. The first one sold for $159. It was graded MS68 red by NGC. It's a beautiful 1995 double die obverse. So, of course, for the error, we're looking on the front of the coin. This one, of course, is at the upper echelon of the grading scale with blazing red surfaces. It has a really sharp strike, and there's no real visible marks. The FS101 double die obverse is most easily spotted in the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, where strong doubling is usually able to be seen just with the eye. On pristine examples like this one, the doubling practically comes right out of the coin. Now, collectors, of course, prize these coins because they're accessible yet dramatic. You can buy these for under $200 for a higher MS grade version of these, and they're just a really, really cool coin. So if you're searching for stuff like this in your pocket change, or really in old rolls you get from the bank, focus on the word Liberty. The doubled L and the doubled I are often the clearest giveaway that you have a 1995 DDO. Now, the second coin was also certified MS68 red. It sold the same day, but for about $10 less at $149. Now, despite being virtually identical in grade and eye appeal as the first one, this one realized a little bit less due to one thing. It's a good reminder that even when coins are labeled the same, the bidding environment and subtle factors like toning in this case are really going to affect price. Let's step back to the 70s to the discovery of this crazy coin. It's listed as FS101. It's a coin that shouldn't exist in the numbers we have today. It was discovered back in the 70s and initially caused such a crazy stir that some examples were misidentified as counterfeits, causing the US Secret Service to investigate before confirming its authenticity. Only about 30 of these are known to exist, making this error even rarer than the famous 1955 double die. Collectors everywhere want one of these, and when one appears in top condition, it always commands huge attention. One of the most famous examples, a MS63 Red sold for $66,000 in January of 2024. It's fully brilliant orange luster, it has sharp doubling across Liberty, the phrase "In God We Trust," and the date, which makes it instantly recognizable, even without magnification. Only 5 red MS63 coins are finer, making this coin a true trophy for modern Lincoln cent collectors. Not all 1969 S double dies are blazing orange, though. A MS63 brown example recently sold for $28,800 in August of 2025. This coin combines rarity with a touch of subtlety. It has beautiful copper, rich brown toning, with some areas preserved with satiny orange luster. Strong doubling remains visible across this coin as well, on the word Liberty, in the phrase "In God We Trust," and in Lincoln's jacket, but the color differentiates it from that red variety. Interestingly, this variety is so coveted that the 100 greatest US modern coins ranks at number 2 overall. A really great guy by the name of Paul Malone discovered the first one in 2017. It made national headlines, and it was confirmed. He had found the first bronze 1982D small date penny. That coin realized over $19,000 at auction. So what makes this 2019 example so extraordinary? For starters, it's the wrong metal. It weighs a little over 3 grams. It proves that it was struck on leftover bronze stock instead of the new zinc planchets that Denver was supposed to be using. The surfaces show warm walnut brown toning. It's really beautiful, sharp detail, and only light circulation wear. So it's a really, really great condition coin. Each one of these coins represents a minting crossover, basically. A literal snapshot of change happening inside the mint during that year. So think of it as the 1943 bronze cent modern day cousin of sorts. Now fast forward to November 6, 2023, so not too long ago. Another 1982D small date coin, but this one struck exactly as intended on a zinc planchet. This one's graded MS68 red by PCGS. With full blazing luster, it's really a near perfect coin. It sold for almost $5,000 through Heritage, and at just 2.5 grams, it's the correct composition, 99.2% zinc, thinly coated with a little copper. Even though it's not an error, its pristine condition, satiny fields, and top grade make it incredibly desirable, and of course, worth quite a bit of money. So I thought this is a great comparison between the two. How can two coins struck the same year, in the same place, with the same date style, differ so much in value, but of course both be so valuable? It all comes down to that metal composition and the intent. The 1982D bronze cent just shouldn't exist. The mint was supposed to have fully transitioned to zinc by the time the small date subtype even began production at Denver. But a few leftover bronze blanks would slip through, got struck with new dies, and quietly entered into circulation. Most were likely there for decades. They were spent forever. That's why the first one wasn't found until 2017. For collectors, that combination of an official error, confirmed rarity, and documented discovery there by Paul Malone makes it one of the most exciting modern Lincoln cents of all time, not to mention Lincoln cents are one of the most collected coins. So the key takeaways are the bronze cent's going to weigh just over 3 grams. The auction record is in upwards of $19,000 for one. The normal zinc weighs 2.5 grams, with one of those top-end sales being $4,800 for one of those. So they're two nearly identical coins, but two very different destinies. One became a high-grade example of modern mint precision, the other one a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly. So before you dismiss that old 1982D penny in your change jar, your pocket, check it out, put it on a scale, look at it under a loupe. If it tips over 3 grams, you might just have yourself one of the most valuable modern cents ever struck. Let me know what you think about this coin in the comments and what you've been coming across in your collectible searches. I hope you've been finding just nothing but treasure. Let us know in the comments and in the community page what you've been coming across, or if you have any questions about it. I'll see you guys in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. The 1983 Bronze Transitional Cent. It's a Lincoln penny that can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. One of those tiny copper-colored mistakes just shattered records not long ago, selling for over $29,000. So how did this impossible coin even exist? A full year after the mint had supposedly stopped using bronze altogether. Let's break down the mystery behind this legendary transitional error. To understand why the 1983 bronze cent shouldn't exist, we need to rewind back to the early 80s. The price of copper had skyrocketed. For decades, every Lincoln cent had been struck from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, and they weighed around 3.11 grams, the same alloy used since 1909 when the Lincoln cent was introduced. But by 1982, it cost more to make a penny than a penny was worth, kind of similar to how it is today. So in August of that year, the mint made a huge change. They switched to a cheaper zinc core plated with copper. This dropped the weight down to 2.5 grams, which saved a ton of money in production. By 1983, the changeover was complete. Every cent that year should have been zinc. No exceptions, no leftovers, no mistakes. But somehow, a few 1983 cents came out of the presses still struck on bronze planchets, and that's where the story begins. The first confirmed 1983 bronze cent didn't appear till 2006, so a long time after their introduction. This variety was found by Billy Crawford, and he noticed something strange: a 1983 cent that weighed 3.11 grams instead of 2.5. That single detail would change everything. Collectors were stunned. It meant that somehow a handful of pre-1983 bronze planchets had survived the transition and were struck a full year later. The Discovery coin, graded PCGS MS62 red-brown, went on to sell for $23,500 back in 2013. From there, a small handful began to surface, pulled from rolls, found in pocket change, and verified by top grading services. And just recently, back in July of 2024, Great Collections auctioned off the finest known example, graded PCGS MS65 red, for a record-breaking $29,250. This would set a new benchmark for modern mint errors. Less than 10 examples have ever been confirmed, so these coins are crazy rare. You just want to let that sink in. Less than 10 coins are even known to exist, but it doesn't mean that there's not more of them floating around out there. The 1983 double die reverse, FS801. This is a stunning example here. It's graded MS68 red. It's sold back in 2017 for just over $7,000. Now, at first glance, it looks like a standard zinc penny, but take a closer look at the reverse lettering, especially the words 1 cent and E pluribus unum, and the horizontal lines in the memorial. Each shows strong, unmistakable doubling, wide and clear to even the naked eye, really. At MS68 red, this coin sits at the top of the grading scale. There's none finer. It makes it a pinnacle piece for any variety specialist. It's one of the nicest known to exist. What's fascinating is that despite being struck after 82, when cents went from bronze to copper-plated zinc, this double die slipped through unnoticed, proving even in modern times, major die errors can happen. The bright brick red surfaces and the lack of contact marks will also add to its appeal, and it shows the quality and rarity together will still rule the market. The next one, another 1983 double die reverse, also graded MS68 red, sold in November of 2023 for $5,280. So like the first, it displays bold reverse doubling, most visible in the words States of America and the memorial's design lines. This example is one of only 8 certified in this elite grade. The copper orange color and that swirling luster really make it a beautiful and a visually striking piece. The presence of small gas bubbles under the copper plating reminds us that this is the zinc era in its full display. The DDR remains one of the strongest modern design anomalies, and one of the fewer varieties to consistently command 4-figure prices even today. While the reverse variety gets most of the spotlight, the 1983 also gave us some lesser known but really significant double die obverses, and these are cataloged as FS101. This example, graded MS67 red, sold in November of 2023 for $1,200, a really good price for a DDO. Instead of the reverse, the doubling is found on Liberty and the date itself. It's subtle, but it's sharp, especially around the number 3. With only a handful certified in this high grade, it's an undervalued companion to the DDR. Even though it's sold for over $1,000, you can see the sheer difference in DDR versus DDO value for 1983. Now, I want you to truly appreciate the rarity, so we need to look at the standard 1983 and 1983D cents. Both were struck on the new zinc planchets and weigh 2.5 grams, and both achieve a really impressive eye appeal at high grades, but without the doubling, they remain pretty common. A 1983 MS68 red sold for $312, and a 1983D MS68 red brought in $144, both in 2019. If we look closer to 2025-2026 time period, you can see that these sell for around the relative same prices. These are technically near perfect examples, yet they trade for a fraction of what the DDR and the DDO prices were, showing just how powerful those die varieties are. The 1975 Lincoln Cent, this one graded really well, MS68 red by NGC. Now at first glance, this might look like one of those common issues, but condition changes everything in the game of collecting. This doesn't just apply to coins, it applies to collecting really anything. Out of millions struck, only 20 examples have reached MS68 red at NGC, with none finer. So it puts this firmly in that condition rarity territory. On September 16th, 2025, this coin sold for $750. So this is a really strong price for a modern cent without any variety to it, any error to it, just really, really good condition. So a tip is don't dismiss those common dates. In the highest grades, even regular issue Lincoln cents can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. So don't dismiss the regular 70s coins, newer ones, as we've seen with even up to the 2020s, with varieties and double dies that are worth hundreds. The next coin is a 1972D Lincoln cent. This one graded MS67 plus red by NGC. The Denver Mint struck more than 2.6 billion of these bad boys that year, but very few survive with really good condition. So blazing luster, sharp strike, and pristine surfaces needed for this high of a grade. Now, ones that aren't even this high, but in the MS grades, also sell for really good money, over $100. NGC reports just 26 coins at this level. That scarcity led to this one selling for $430. Registry demand again drives result here. So serious collectors compete for those ones that are going to be the finest examples. Always check census reports before bidding if you're going to get into this stuff, as that will help you gauge true rarity. The third coin on the list is a proof issue, so I wanted to change it up a bit. This is a 1970S small date Lincoln cent, graded PR67 red. The 1970S cents come in both a large date and a small date variety, with the small date being scarcer and highly collected. From a mintage of just 2.6 million proofs, only a few of them are small dates, and even a fewer of those are going to be in really, really good condition. This example
brought just $49 at auction on September 9th of 2025. I wanted to put this in the list because it's an affordable way for new collectors to acquire a variety that continues to grow in popularity and will gain value over time. Now to one of the most famous Lincoln Cent varieties, the 1972 DDO. Now this is an FS101. This dramatic double die shows clear separation in both the date and the word Liberty, making it one of the most obvious and collectible double dies in the entire series. Now this one is graded MS65 red by PCGS, and this example sold for $720. With an estimated mintage of around 75,000 pieces, it remains a highly desirable coin. While circulating examples can be found for far less money, high-grade red survivors like this command a really strong premium. They always sell for good money. For double dies, strong eye appeal is really what matters. The final coin on the list is another 1972 double die obverse, but there's a good reason why this is also on the list. This time, it's the FS103 variety, graded MS65 red by NGC. While not as famous or dramatic as that FS101 we just talked about, the FS103 is still collected as a recognized variety and, again, is one of those really affordable entry points for people trying to get into really cool double dies. This coin realized $129 on September 2nd, of 2025. For those building variety sets of Lincoln Cents, this is a great one that will add depth and interest without breaking the bank, so to speak. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hopefully, you can find that treasure hiding in your pocket, in the back of your closet, under your bed, in that old Pokemon collection or vinyl or comic book collection, and make some money off it. I'll see you guys in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.